fresh from an attack of the undead. And I'm here to take you on a late beta peek and play preview of Herman Luttman's immortal classic, Dawn of the Zeds, 3rd edition. We're going to set this game up, show you the great components, and take you on a whirlwind tour where you can watch your heroes die horribly. In this new 3rd edition, we've upgraded this game from solitaire only to cooperative gameplay. And there's even some more surprises in our upcoming Kickstarter this June. Come on, let's take a look. This is the new look for Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition. So let me take you on a hand-waving tour. You can see we've taken the Tim Allen bonus map from the 2nd edition and souped it up, cleaned it up, and now it's a mounted board. So in 3rd edition, Dawn of the Zeds, you will actually have a mounted folding mat board. Because, yes, we're getting this printed out of house. So, yay us, alright? And that's why you'll be seeing this on Kickstarter, by the way. We need to raise money to get this printed out of house. You see the familiar tracks, including the new look of the tunnel track. But some things really are new, such as the shapes of the counters, like our heroes. In this game we have Deputy Schmidt, Pickles, Doc Seaver, and, whoops, you're not wounded, we have Captain Piazza. You'll also notice some additions in Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition. You'll see things like heroic civilians. And on the subject of heroic civilians, let me introduce you to the one in this particular game that we're playing. There are several included in Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition. This is WZED Farmingdale, the local radio station. WZED Farmingdale. No, that doesn't come with the game, sorry. They're a cross between heroes, in that they have abilities, and civilians, in that they are civilian units that have 4 hits. WZED Farmingdale has the emergency broadcasting system ability. So once per turn they can use that to give orders to civilians and refugees. Then they have news talk, we interrupt this program, that's great for the mayor's speech, and coordinated defenses to help you out. So they're more than just civilians, they are heroic civilians. And you'll find other heroic civilians such as the fire department, the Farmingdale Furies roller derby team, and some other great surprises in store for you. In addition, you'll see that the heroes of their own shape, civilians and refugees, also have their own shape. There's new pieces in store for you too. We have to introduce you, for example. The National Guard used to be how the game ended. But no more. The National Guard enters about 10 turns before the end of the game. And they have their own Godzilla-sized unit that's going to roll down a random track on its way to Farmingdale. Hopefully, alleviating your Zeds problems for you on that one track. Of course, it could go wrong. Very wrong. For the National Guard on their way in. I've seen the Zeds eat many a National Guard unit in playtesting. The other thing that you'll want to know is how the game actually ends. Boom. Now you play until the last card, but it's not the National Guard. Instead, it is one of the fateful finale cards that end the game. You'll see that the cards are in a rainbow assortment of colors. Aha! And what does that portend, you may ask? Allow me to explain. The different colors are the different levels of gameplay. Yes, when you first learn Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition now, you'll find that there's a smooth introduction at the blue level of gameplay. Only the basics are handled in that, so you can easily teach it to friends. Yes, now you can play with friends. Co-op gameplay has been baked right into the game, and it works really well, I'm proud to say. So, the blue level is the first level of gameplay. Then green, yellow, orange, and if you're really suicidal, red. And each has got its own gripping finale card. And the higher up you go, the more vicious the Zeds make their last push of the game in an attempt to take out Town Center or burn Farmingdale to the ground with, dun dun dun, chaos. You see, that's the other new ending for the game. The game can end when the Zeds get into town center, just like before, or when the 13th, the lucky 13th chaos marker is placed on the board. At that point, the Zeds have made Farmingdale not worth saving, and nobody's coming to your rescue. So you have to protect Farmingdale and its environs from too much Zed infestation and chaos. All right, let's get some Zeds on the board, shall we? And we'll start moving them down the tracks. Oh, good, that's a small one. All right, we'll see you in a second as we get the Zeds lit up. So we're picking up in the game a little ways into Act 2. The overarching structure of the game is played in 4 acts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, with, of course, the climax and the great onrush of Zeds in the 4th act. It builds. It's got a story tempo. And this is something many people have liked in 1st and 2nd edition of Zeds. So now we're going to do a sample turn, and let's see what happens here on the board. Each turn, you begin by revealing an event card. Oh, great. This is a bad card. There's not a lot of good cards in the deck, but this is a particularly bad one. Where are they all coming from? So, the sequence of play is here. These steps on the card are all you have to do to follow to get the game right. So step 1 is the 4R phase. Those are raiders, rangers, refugees, and rescuers. Essentially, it's the game's AI for the human player. And right now, we get to move 1 refugee, and we just happen to have 2. We will take these refugees here and move them 1 space to there with our 1 move in the 4R phase. We have no rescuers on the way. This is a pretty common situation, but they might show up. Or during the outbreak phase, there's a no. So even though our infection level is high, no outbreak this turn. Excuse me, during the E phase, we'll roll a die, but we'd be checking that number against the number of patients in the hospital and refugees in the refugee camp, of which we have 0. So we roll higher than that. Nobody eats. That's good too. Now the bad news. All. During the Zed phase, every Zed track is going to light up, and all the Zeds are going to have a field day munching on us. So, as you can see, the little tab bleeds into the instructions, and it says at the beginning of this phase. Step 1, place a new Zeds unit on the start space of every track. Whoa, and apply the stacking limit. Okay. So, we're going to have new Zeds popping up. We'll have 1 there, there. Great, that's what we need is more Zeds. There, and there. All the start spaces are now full within the stacking limit. And remove all hit markers from Zed units. Okay, all the hard-won hits that I have applied to Zeds. The 2 hits on this guy, little heart markers. They're so cute. The, who else is wounded around here? I guess that's the only Zed I've managed to ding so far. Well, this one's flipped, so he doesn't have a wound marker. And then finally, a little Z with movement on it. What? That's a new symbol. Yes, it is. In 3rd edition, Dawn of the Zeds, when you're playing co-op with multiple players, each player gets their own individual player action. Well, if you play with 1 player, you get 1 player action. That's a solo game. But if you have 2, 3, or 4 players, for each buddy you have, there's pressure back from the Zeds. In this case, it's movement pressure. That's how many of the strongest Zed stacks, not tracks, stacks, are going to lunge. But right now I'm playing solitaire, so I can ignore all of that Zed's pressure stuff. I'm making a fair fight of this. Okay. So we can ignore that, and now we light up all the tracks, and then we will get 1 action. I'll put that over here on our little action marker. Well, all the tracks light up, huh? That's wonderful. Well, let's start with the tunnel track, because that's the easiest. They're all going to just zombie along forward. Not a lot of news over there. On the highway track, however, we're in pretty bad shape. This Zeds mob, a mob is a stack of 2 or more Zeds. They might have extras if they have a infection-spreading standee. Those guys are new. A mob attacks, and they have 9 to 2. This guy's pretty much toast. You would roll 2 dice on the hand-to-hand combat table, and the Zeds have a 3 times advantage or more. On a 7, the Zeds lose nothing, and we lose 3. We have 1, 2, 3 hits and we're dead. Oh, how convenient is that? So, these guys have been munched. Now, in Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition, a unit that is killed gets a saving roll. Another cool feature about this game is all high die rolls are good for you, the human player, and all low die rolls are bad. So his saving roll is 5, and that's high on a 4, 5, or 6. He does not go to the Beauville Cemetery. Instead, he is placed in the hospital, flatlining with an EKG. Well, he's got a little heartbeat there. And that means he's got less than 1 hit. He's got 0 hits. But he can be healed. Heal, I say. And then we can get him back in the action. So he didn't go to the cemetery. He's still potentially back in play. These Zeds advance and burp because they just ate a bunch of our guys. All right, over here, these Zeds all advance, starting with this guy. Now, strength of 5 to 1, another huge Zeds advantage. But we get a shift for defending in the university. We can hide behind the books in the library. And that means they lose 1 and we lose 2. So, 1 hit for the Zeds, 2 hits for us, but we're 1 hit away from dying. So that means it's another saving roll. And they go to the cemetery, a low die roll. Not so good. But now we're starting to populate the cemetery. Wait a minute, that's bad. All right, and then these Zeds shuffle on up. And chaos in the university as the Zeds enter and start to make trouble there. The chaos markers are filling up the board. Now, just like in 2nd edition, those are bad. They stop your movement and they hinder you in all sorts of ways. But in 3rd edition, they are also a loss condition. When you're out of chaos markers, there are 12, and you must place another, the 13th, you lose. The area of Farmingdale is no longer worth saving. So you got to get out of town center and into the fight, people. All right, over here on the forest track. Well, this is also bad. This 9-strength Zeds unit is going to come knocking on the wall, but we have 2, count them, 2 defending units. We can defend with the civilians who are no longer defiant now that the Zeds have arrived, or we can defend with Deputy Schmidt. And Deputy Schmidt has a little higher rating. It would be 9 to 4. I think we'll go with that. So it's the 9 Zeds versus Deputy Schmidt's 4. Here, we'll bravely put Deputy Schmidt forward. But he's bravely standing behind this wall as well. So we get 2 shifts. 1 for St. Thomas, the namespace. 1 for the barricades. And the Zeds times 2 advantage goes down 2 to the equals column. And we made a good roll. You always want to roll high. So it's 2 to 1, and we win the battle. The Zeds are fleeing. So they take 2 dings and run away. Yay! Deputy Schmidt has to take a hit. But one of his special abilities is to be tough and shrug off such hits. And on a 4, 5, or 6, high dice are always good. He will, but he won't. So instead, Deputy Schmidt is now wounded. That's not so good. And then all these guys move up. They form a mob, and then these guys come up. Man, the tracks are lighting up like crazy over here. And finally on the forest track, there's a 5 with a 3-strength disease spreader. Oops, disease spreaders. Very bad. That's Noel Hellraiser. And they come crashing into Lefty's Pass. They've got 8 to 2. Man, they've got a 3 to 1 advantage. We get 1 shift for Lefty's Pass. And the die roll is execrable. That's really bad. A 4. They're going to inflict 4 hits. Okay, so they wipe out our civilians unit. It takes 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, and death. So that's 4 hits. Does it make it to the cemetery? No, it goes to the hospital. Yay! We can get him back. And the villagers flee, running back here to Pickles, who's at the Lucky Strike mine. And into Lefty's Pass come the Zeds, and more chaos. Ooh, the pressure. It looks bad for us. But now the Zeds have all lit up the tracks, and we finally get a say in matters. We have 1 action plus our 1 player action. Plus these little round coins down here. Those are free actions, things that we can do once per turn. So let's do them. This is not looking so good. With WZED Farmingdale, they're going to tell these refugees to keep fleeing. Zing! So away they go. Doc Seaver, He's in the lab right now, so we're going to do a little more medical research. And this is an interesting thing now. Research is handled by a deck of cards, and there are small bonuses with each success. So we will spend our one action to tell Doc Seaver to keep working on the cure for Zeds disease. But Doc Seaver rolls a 1 and completely screws that up. So that's not helping. All right, we have our one player action left. And with our last player action, I think, what are we going to do? Piazza is going to take a shot. No? Man. See, that's the cool thing about Dawn of the Zeds, is you got a lot to think about. I think we're going to fire this 4 strength civilians unit and take a shot at that zombie and see if we can chip it down a bit. So we expend 1 bullet. We have a strength of 4, looking at the 4 column on the gunfire table, and a genius roll of 10 inflicts 3 hits. 1 hit times 2. 2 hits is the flip. 3 hits adds another wound. That, all the Z units have 6 hits that they can take. So he's 2 away from dying now. And conveniently, we've even marked that on the little pieces themselves to show how many hits they take, when they flip, and when they die. So every piece has got its own little hit recorder for you. How cool is that? Wow. What else can we do? Schmidt has his initiative, and we'll spend that. That means he gets a personal action every turn. And I think his personal action will be to bravely run away, 1, 2, 3, 4, and head back to the hospital. He could use a Band-Aid right now. So that's a look at that turn. The next turn is Brains. And since the undead are about to really put the smack down on us, this is probably a good place to cut. I survived, and you will too, whether you win or not. But I just wanted to say final words about Dawn of the Zeds 3rd edition. We've come a long way from the 1st edition in the States of Siege solitaire game. It had a lot of charm, and it was a really popular game. When we upgraded our ability to improve our components here at Victory Point Games, better print-on-demand quality components for you, that's when we upgraded the game to 2nd edition. We got a chance to show off our better quality components, and we added some new features to the game, such as the Walking Zeds expansion kit that's baked right into the 2nd edition. We also included the bonus Tim Allen map. So the 2nd edition has been fantastic. It's our 2nd best-selling game behind Darkest Night, which is a wonderful game too. But 3rd edition, we're trying something special, and that's why we're going to Kickstarter. In addition to bringing you the mounted folding board and the high-quality cards and components that you get from overseas printing, we wanted to show you that we're really pouring it on in this game. We're adding stretch goals in our Kickstarter to make sure that you get extra heroes, extra super Zeds, just all kinds of mayhem and mischief added to the game. But our last stretch goal is something really special. In addition to baking co-op play right into this game, and this is a game you can learn and teach to anybody. We've stair-stepped the rules. So each level just adds another system, one more new mechanic. And eventually you make it all the way up to the dreaded the red level of gameplay. And cooperative gameplay is baked into every level. So it works just great from the basic game all the way to the last level. But we prepared something really special for the final stretch goal. And that is a versus game. Yes, you can have a 5th player, or a 2nd player if you just want to play a 2-player game, or any number in between. And someone can represent the Zeds. They will be the personification of Dr. Martuse, the crazy evil scientist who's been cooking up these Zeds as part of his wicked experiments. And his evil henchmen. Yes, there are anti-heroes and anti-civilians to cause trouble for the human players in this game. So now it's a test of wits and a test of brute survival. We're playtesting that final stretch goal right now. If you make it to the end, we will deliver one heck of a great versus game. We're already having fun in testing and working out the kinks, and it's coming along great. So we hope to see you at the end of the Kickstarter hitting the final stretch goal, we could ship this game off and get it printed for you right away. Thanks, everybody. And we know you're going to love Dawn of the Zeds, 3rd edition.